What if I told you that Google and Samsung decided to not just compete with the RayBan-Meta, but also the Vision Pro? It seems Apple's launch of iOS 18.2 brings a lot of the Apple Intelligence promise, but not for all supported devices. And listen, you might need to brace for a Samsung that's bringing a more expensive Galaxy S25 series in certain regions, but probably justified? I'm Jaime Rivera, and welcome to my channel. We've got 4 topics to cover that actually became 3 thanks to how Google likes to launch things in batches. This is Tech Briefing. The official news today begin with Apple, as the company has been busy with its launch of more Apple Intelligence features, though in a way that keeps pushing fragmentation more than it already is. So yes, iOS and iPadOS 18.2 were recently launched with your typical bug fixes and all that fun stuff. But obviously this also meant more of the AI we've been promised since June. On this launch, you'll see a new app on your home screen for Image Playground, which lets you design unique emojis, and yeah, you can also access that from the keyboard. We also get Image Wand, which is more of a feature of the Notes app that turns sketches into the drawings we wish we could make. Maybe the biggest improvement we've been waiting for is Siri finally doing more than just giving you a new animation. The service's integration with ChatGPT has begun now with smarter answers and writing assistance. If you also didn't like the Photos app, there are a ton of improvements, including removing the unnecessary framing around them and also on video. And then maybe my favorite is that now you don't just get the 2-step shutter on camera control, but you can also go into accessibility and remove the capacitive control gestures that I genuinely found annoying while running and doing activities. Other apps like Mail and Safari get upgrades in organization, navigation, and security. So what's the catch? Alright, remember that visual intelligence feature that's technically like circle to search on Android? Yeah, that doesn't work on the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. They've made it the sort of camera control function that you have to press and hold, which, sure, I understand only the 16 models have the button, but why not just make this an app on the 15 Pro series? The chip and RAM are more than capable. Apple even blurs the camera viewfinder if you try to use Siri that way as an alternative, so the workaround is to just use Google Lens. Aside from the ChatGPT Ask option, which will just give you a text description, the entire search functionality is just Google Lens. Here's to hoping the 15 Pro gets something in the future. And also, while the audio enhance feature works on the 15 Pro series, you can't record multiple layers of audio like you can on the 16 series. Again, just odd fragmentation that's hard to understand. I wouldn't recommend that you buy a new phone just yet, considering that there are a ton of app alternatives. But yeah, it's just sad that this promise doesn't work on all devices. Now let's switch to Samsung, as the Galaxy S25 series is already making waves in new leaks about pricing, storage options, and accessories, but apparently not everywhere, or not good everywhere, should I say. In Europe, reports indicate that the prices will remain unchanged from the Galaxy S24. The base S25 is starting at €899, which I know is already more expensive than the US pricing, not just an exchange rate. $1,149 for the Galaxy S25 Plus and $1,449 for the S25 Ultra. Now in other regions, though, a price hike is possible due to rising costs and currency exchange rates. Then there's the fact that we have conflicting rumors about the chipset in sort of a positive light. These sources claim that all models will feature Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite, which of course is great for the rest of the world, but which will drive the prices up. Now, as for storage options, we hear things might remain the same, with the base S25 starting at 128 gigs, and then the Plus and the Ultra starting at 256. No word if there's going to be an option beyond 1 terabyte with the Ultra. Now, the positive note is that we hear 16 gigs of RAM as an option for the larger models, which could mean that the base will start at 12, but that hasn't been confirmed. Also, expect Qi 2 wireless charging on these devices, so yeah, MagSafe accessories are now going to be able to work on them. And finally, for the most interesting news today, grab some popcorn, because we actually have 2 topics, because they technically happen separately but are related. We were about to make this video first on Gemini 2.0, and then we learned of Android XR on a separate launch that is actually connected to it. Anyways, Gemini 2.0 is Google's latest AI model designed for what it calls the agentic era. And yes, we've been hearing about agentic since the launch of the MediaTek Dimensity 9400 and later with the Snapdragon 8 Elite. OpenAI has also mentioned it right now with its 12 days of events, and now obviously Google, because competition is great. For context, Gemini 1.0 was focused more on organizing and understanding information, and now Gemini 2.0 emphasizes making information more useful by reasoning, planning, and remembering tasks to act on your behalf. The first version, Gemini 2.0 Flash, is twice as fast as its predecessor and excels in areas like coding, factual accuracy, math, and reasoning. It supports advanced multimodal outputs such as combining images with text, multilingual audio customization, meaning it can understand various languages at once, and the ability to natively perform tool-based tasks like web searches and code execution. It's currently available as an experimental model, but it'll see a general release in January, with additional model sizes to follow. Developers have multiple ways to try it, but for us mortals, the Gemini web service now offers version 2.0 Flash at gemini.google.com. The phone application remains in version 1.5 until later. Google is also testing Gemini 2.0 in the AI overviews you get on Google Search. This means you will soon be able to search for complex multi-step queries across advanced math, multimodal tasks, and I guess even coding. Broader availability is planned for early next year alongside integration into more Google products. Now, as for the agentic part, well, Gemini Advanced subscribers can access a deep research feature which acts like a personal research assistant. Users can input a complex question and Gemini will create a multi-step research plan, perform web searches, refine its findings, and generate a detailed, organized report complete with sources. But then there's Project Astra, where Google showed us at Google I/O how you could use the camera on your phone to visualize the world around you. And yeah, if you thought that it was just for your phone's camera, think again, as the plan all along was for glasses and VR headsets. For the second bit of the segment, Google just announced its new Android XR, which is technically an operating system designed for VR and AR glasses. Yeah, remember the Samsung XR glasses in collaboration with Google and Qualcomm that we discussed on the last episode? Well, it turns out that this is more of a Google project where Samsung is one of the hardware makers. This project aims to fully launch in 2025 with most of its functionality being sourced from your phone. We also know that it fully depends on Gemini 2.0 as your AI companion that's designed to offer you persistent assistance across applications and environments. At the moment, there's a Samsung mixed reality headset that's dubbed Project Muhan, and which means infinity in Korean. It's still a developer-only product that features high-quality displays, eye and hand tracking, a lightweight design, and a tethered battery like the Vision Pro. And then it also borrows on that functionality by blending the real-world visuals with VR overlays. This version of Android XR supports Google Play applications and allows for immersive multitasking with features like windowed applications and 3D scanned environments. Google then lets you convert 2D photos into 3D, but it's ahead of the Vision Pro in allowing you to do this for video as well. Now, as opposed to the way you talk to Siri or Meta AI, where you have to call upon these services to get a response, Gemini here is a service you fully activate as your permanent assistant. There were demos that showed useful capabilities like an immersive version of Google Maps that can give you directions as you walk along with landmark information. Maybe the coolest part, as if everything else wasn't already, is that Gemini 2.0 is in full effect as it remembers everything you did in case you need a reminder. And I know, the question now is how people are going to react, as Recall on Copilot was butchered enough for Microsoft to push it back. But then the smart glasses were the bigger story, at least for me, which, is the modern version of Project Astra we saw demoed on a phone before. They're reportedly like Meta Ray-Bans, though slightly beefier. But these do bring a display which contradicts the rumors. It uses waveguides on the right lens and a micro LED projector that comes on the right stem. Since Gemini is always on, it can identify objects, works of art, summarize books, and even give you translations in real time. Sure, having it play back things can get overwhelming, but then you're able to pause Gemini by simply a quick tap on the right stem. And yes, they are wireless and feeding all this information from your phone, which, begs the question on battery life and how does that affect your phone in other tasks. Still, you gotta admit that this is a better alternative than just using a smartwatch if done right. And I say if done right because it wouldn't be the first time that Google tries this. We've seen Google Cardboard, we've seen Project Daydream, we've also seen Google Glass, and then Samsung had its own stint with Oculus on its own VR headset that you use your phone on your head. You guessed it, all these projects are now defunct, though yeah, those were different times. Now we have competition from Meta and Apple in ways Google and Samsung never reached before. We see Xreal also working on a product of their own, so it's not like if Samsung is the only hardware provider here. The wait might be long, but it's all pointing in the right direction, or at least we hope. In today's question, let us know, what do you think of the concept of Android XR, or do you doubt that Google will commit? Because in my case, I think Google's Pixel project is proof that the company is betting on the long run, at least for hardware, but that's just me. Leave us a comment down below. We would love to know your opinion. Friends, again, Tech Briefing is a work in progress, so be sure to provide your feedback in the comments down below. And while you're at it, follow me on social media and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this one. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.